Right now at 6, why the Trump administration says several Oregon cities are, quote, undermining the rule of law.
Plus, why programs that help teenagers and young adults with job training are now being forced to close.
I'm at a loss of what do we do?
Then, a historic agreement in Portland with millions of dollars and land going to Black families displaced decades ago.
This is a step in the right direction.
And later, it's old and outdated. And now officials say it's putting fair trials and public safety at risk.
I had conversations with clients in the bathroom before because that's the only place that you can go.
Welcome to the weekend. Thanks for joining us on what's turning out to be a toasty Friday evening. Right now, 84 degrees in the Rose City. And while the clouds are moving in spots, we had lots of sunshine and blue skies no matter where you went today in the Northwest.
Let's get right to Celine Stevens in the Weather Center. Celine, looks like it'll be staying nice for the weekend, though not nearly as warm.
Definitely, yeah. We're going to be seeing temperatures, like you said, stay warm, but it's not going to feel like summer. And definitely those clouds are rolling in, and that'll continue into Saturday. But right now, taking a look at the Reserve Golf Course, temperatures really nice there, 85 degrees, so nice and warm in those areas. Those winds are coming out of the northwest at 6 miles per hour. And let's look at temperatures across the map. We're looking at 83 in Aurora, 84 in Troutdale. Temperatures in Vancouver are also sitting in that mid-80s range. Further down South Bend, now at 88. Earlier, they were hitting that 90-degree mark. And along the coast, temperatures now really starting to cool off in areas like Newport. They're looking at upper 50s, 66 degrees in Tillamook. And so that temperature change, that difference from this time yesterday is pretty drastic. Seeing temperatures 16 degrees warmer right now than this time yesterday. Same story in Vancouver, 14-degree difference. Hillsborough, 15. And along the coast, much less of a stark difference, only 5 degrees warmer in Tillamook right now than this time yesterday. So we've been dealing with a warming trend, but that does change as we get into Saturday. Temperatures will still remain nice, but not as nice as today if you like the heat, I guess. Taking a look at tomorrow morning, 56 degrees. We're seeing those clouds by noon. We're really still continuing to see those partly cloudy conditions, 68 degrees. By 5 p.m., we're hanging out in the mid-70s. It's going to be warm, but those clouds are going to remain. Very light chance of some small chance of light showers, most likely impacting the coast and the Cascades in the northern Oregon, southern Washington area. Taking a look after that Sunday, clouds start to clear out. We sit in the upper 70s by Monday, 78 degrees and sunny. It's only really going to get nicer. We'll talk about that more a bit later. Back to you.
Yeah, excited for the weekend and the beautiful weather. Thank you, Celine.
This evening, the Trump administration has released a list of counties and cities it says are undermining the rule of law, particularly around the president's new immigration policies.
We're talking about so-called sanctuary jurisdictions, and there are a number of cities and counties in the Portland metro area that made the list. Oregon is on there as a sanctuary state, and within the state, there are 15 of 36 counties on the list. The metro county regions are listed, but it's unclear why conservative areas like Harney, Union, and Umatilla counties are included. There are also 4 Oregon cities included: Portland, Beaverton, Eugene, and Hood River. The administration has said each jurisdiction on the list will get formal notification that the government has deemed them non-compliant and could face punishment.
Well, meanwhile, Oregon Congresswoman Maxine Dexter joined with Washington Congresswomen Emily Randall and Pramila Jayapal on an unannounced trip to the Northwest Detention Center in Tacoma. There is a statute that allows these types of visits without prior authorization. After getting some pushback from staff and with ACLU attorneys alongside, they were able to make it in.
It's very strange that they called in ICE because ICE doesn't run this facility. The statute is unbelievably clear that they have the right to go in there. And so to have the ICE field agent come in is very strange. As Representative Jayapal said, ICE is charged with enforcement, not running these facilities.
Well, the Congresswoman said they were checking on conditions for those detained, including looking at crowding and medical care.
We're also seeing more cuts coming down from the federal government. A program that provides education and job training to teens and young adults is getting axed as part of President Trump's budget bill.
Devin Haskins is in the newsroom with the details. Devin?
Well, guys, the Department of Labor is putting all contractor-operated Job Corps locations on pause, which impacts the Tongue Point and Springdale locations, as well as the downtown Portland location. Those 2 locations in Astoria and Troutdale.
It just feels like it's just being ripped out from us underneath. And is hard.
Jessica Arichta is the deputy director at Tongue Point Job Corps in Astoria. She's a success story, leaving a bad home life and joining Tongue Point at age 16.
It really changed my life. It helped me feel like, that I do matter in this world.
She's one of the many staff members being let go as part of the pause on Job Corps operations across the United States. That includes 3 centers in Oregon.
This devastating news of the possibility of this program not being a program anymore. It hurts to see the young, I walk around center. We walked around this morning to check in with students and check with staff, and, it hurts. It hurts.
Job Corps is a federally funded program that provides education, work training, and job placement for those ages 16 to 24. At Tongue Point, Arichta says there are more than 300 students, many of whom come from troubled backgrounds or unsafe living situations.
We've got a large handful of students who have 0 places to go, no family to support them. I'm at a loss of what do we do?
As part of President Trump's fiscal year 26 budget, Job Corps operations are being put on pause. Oregon Senator Ron Wyden says he'll press Labor Secretary Lori Chavez DeRemer to reconsider, writing, "I am strongly urging the department to ensure these individuals do not fall through the cracks." And during a budget appropriations briefing in mid-May before it was announced it would close, Chavez DeRemer says Job Corps wasn't fiscally viable.
The Job Corps program has a price tag of nearly $1.7 billion per year, and we owe it to the taxpayers to be transparent about what is happening. So the average cost per student is about $80,000. And the average cost per enrollee, regardless of their length of stay, is about $50,000.
Arichta pushed back on those numbers.
If you were to come step on our center, you would see no way, because our materials are outdated. We can't afford certain things. Our budgets are so limited and so small, but we do the very, very best that we can to focus on employability skills.
The Department of Labor says that all the contractor-operated Job Corps locations will close by June 30th and that it's working to assist current students with advancing their training and connecting them with employment. David?
Devin Haskins in the newsroom tonight. Thanks, Devin. In your headlines, the man accused of shooting at vehicles on I-5 near Wilsonville yesterday morning has made his first court appearance. Police say Jason Duncan shot at cars south of the I-205 interchange between 5 and 7 Thursday morning. Authorities have also identified 2 victims. One of them suffered minor injuries, the other property damage. Duncan is being held without bail until at least next week. Witnesses are being asked to call Oregon State Police.
New developments today related to the foreign workers demonstrating against Nike over allegations of wage theft. 3 of the shoemakers workers from Indonesia have filed a complaint with Oregon's Bureau of Labor and Industries. They say they were not paid during the height of the pandemic due to firings, layoffs, as well as wage and hour violations. They say the company now owes workers money. One worker says during COVID, production goals increased, but the factory reduced their pay. Nike has not commented on the allegations.
Nearly 100 local workers at a battery tech company with global reach may soon be out of a job. Today, the Pow-In company filed notice with the state listing 96 positions in Tualatin and Portland that are at risk, in addition to some 150 remote workers. Pow-In says economic conditions are putting the company's future in doubt, and permanent layoffs will happen by the end of July if conditions do not improve. The business, by the way, was just named to Fast Company's list of most innovative companies of 2025. A year after launching its advanced liquid-cooled pod energy storage system.
Governor Tina Kotek is asking the Trump administration to declare a disaster in 4 Oregon counties hit hard by flooding in recent months. A declaration from the president would give Douglas, Coos, Curry, and Harney counties access to federal money to help with cleanup, housing, and infrastructure repair. Oregon Attorney General Dan Rayfield sued the Trump administration in March after Homeland Security officials withheld $24 million in FEMA funding that was earmarked for flood recovery in those counties.
And a heads up if your weekend plans will take you anywhere near Highway 217, because beginning at 9 tonight, all southbound lanes of the freeway will be closed. That's from Southwest Canyon Road in Beaverton to 99W in Tigard. This is for paving as part of the ongoing auxiliary lanes project, and it's the first of 5 planned weekend closures. Again, southbound lanes will remain closed all weekend and should fully reopen by 5 on Monday morning.
In In an update tonight, the city of Portland plans to settle a lawsuit over the displacement of black families from the historic Albina neighborhood with an agreement pending city council approval that would pay out some $2 million.
Let's bring in Evan Watson live in North Portland with more on how the city got to this point. Evan?
Yes, David, beyond that $2 million, the settlement agreement would also transfer land in the Albina area to a company formed by the 26 black plaintiffs who sued the city. The city of Portland would also create a display about Albina's history in the Keller Auditorium.
Polly Blamont grew up in Portland's Albina neighborhood, captured walking as a kid in this KGW archive video. So he remembers how his childhood neighborhood changed.
Some people call that gentrification. And so I saw some of that, but I just kind of went with the times, and I'm the type of person that just wants to try to look at the good in things.
3 years ago, a group of 26 black plaintiffs, not Polly but others from his community, sued the city of Portland and Legacy Emanuel Hospital, seeking damages for the city's urban development projects in the 1960s and 70s. Their families moved from their homes for projects like the hospital's planned but unrealized expansion. Friday, the city and families announced a settlement agreement, $2 million to the plaintiffs, an opportunity to reclaim some undeveloped land in the Albina area, and other chances to memorialize the Albina history.
It's not going to be satisfactory to everyone that was affected. However, the people that are benefiting from that's a start.
The city of Portland shared a statement saying, Portland's systemic discrimination and displacement harmed black communities by excluding them from home ownership and wealth building opportunities, by denying them access to educational resources, jobs, and healthy neighborhoods.
We're hearing we did wrong. And a lot of people, this might sound, kind of strange, but a lot of people want to hear an apology. It's like, start with an apology.
Portland City Council still needs to approve the settlement agreement. A public hearing is set for June 5th. Blamont says for him, it's a sign of progress.
Just be fair. A lot of times people were not treated fair, and that's why the settlement was reached, and people are trying to make wrongs into something right.
Lawyers that are representing the plaintiffs say this settlement agreement is a testament to their clients' hard work in recognizing the dignity and the diligence of their elders who grew up and lived in the Albina area. That city council meeting is set to last a public hearing for 2.5 hours this upcoming Thursday. David, Christine.